Change is hard, so make sure that you don't make a change in brokerage until you see this video. I'm going to go through specific strategies now. As I've worked with agents that have moved brokerages, that have left brokerages that I'm with, there are specific things that need to be evaluated to see if it makes sense for you. Ideally, you would stay where you are, you would have your forever home, but you're going to know for sure by the end of this video whether you're where you're supposed to be or whether a change is needed. All right, as you're evaluating whether you're at your forever home, one of the things you need to do is you need to get clear and get some clarity on exactly what you want. What do you want your business to look like? What do you want your business to become? Are you happy with what you're selling now, or are you looking to grow your business? See, all of these are factors, and every single person is different, and there is not a single brokerage out there that is perfect for everybody. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. A couple of things you need to look at, obviously, is the split in fees. You need to look at the culture that's there. You need to look at the environment. Is it an environment of growth? Is there energy there? And you need to look and see if it's a place where 5 years from now you're going to thank yourself that you stayed there, or is it something that you will have wished you had made a change? I'm going to break each of these down as we go through this, because each of these have questions you can ask yourself and you can evaluate to see exactly what it is that you should do. All right, the first step is to evaluate the finances. Look, you don't need to make a move if it doesn't make financial sense. So, are you at a position where you can evaluate exactly what the splits would be wherever it is you're considering versus where you are? Now, what I would do is I would take your numbers from last year and I would lay those over the existing, what you have now split-wise, and where you are as far as the potential of where you might be moving. It's going to be very clear whether you're going to have financial. Now, look, it's not just financial, because I will say this: never make a move just on the finances, because there's a lot of other factors there, and a lot of times just making a move just on the finances, it's not going to make sense because you're going to lose something in doing that. So, but we have to start with the finances. So lay out exactly what it looks like. What would you have made differently at those two different places? And you're going to begin to start seeing, is there even a possibility this might make financial sense? And then we'll go to that next step. The next area that I like to look at is the culture of where you are versus where you are going. You see, we end up becoming the people that we spend the most time with. So who is it and what is it that the situation you're moving into, what does that look like? Is there a culture of collaboration? Is there a group of people that are sharing ideas in a way that help you become a better agent? You see, we're going to become more like that culture that we're going to, or we're going to leave a culture where we're going to become something different than what we have been. So the question becomes is the place you are, is it a place where there is excitement, where there's energy, where there's growth, where there's a focus on doing more business? If that's what you're focused on and it's not there, then you need to take this to that next step and consider finding a place that does have that. One of the things I've found is that if you're at a place where the energy is not there, it's going to be very difficult for you to move your business forward. Now, look, you may have a season of this. You may have a time when you just hit a hot streak here and you're going to have some gains. But ultimately, over time, if you're not at a place where other people are moving forward, you will outpace that and it will become an anchor on your growth. Now, here's the other thing is, versus if you're at a place where there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of excitement, that people are growing, there's an atmosphere of collaboration, that will actually act as something that will push you to a higher level. So that culture that you find yourself in is going to be a big factor on whether you make a decision to stay where you are or maybe it's time to make a change. Next up is evaluate the training on where you are and where you're considering going, because ultimately you're only going to grow and you're only going to become an agent that is at a level based on the training and the new things that you're learning. Now listen, you can do a lot of this on your own, but even the Lone Ranger had Tonto. You got to have some other people around you that are feeding into you. If you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you're not at a place where you're getting this, then you really need to look for that place that has that training, that culture of collaboration we were talking about, that has the ability for you to learn new things that you can apply. Also, is there a group of agents that you can get with? And it doesn't have to be locally. You can do this online where you've got a group of accountability. You've got some people that you're spending that time with, whether it be in the office or online, that are inspiring you to become more and a better agent than you have been in the past. You see, when you surround yourself with people that are training, that are learning, and you're learning, your business can't help but grow. It's going to be a function of exactly what it is that you've been doing. I mentioned before that a lot of times what can happen is you can look at the hot streak, so to speak, you're on right now and be like, wow, I don't need to make a change now. Understand this, our business works in cycles. So the things that you're seeing and the successes you may be seeing now or the lack of success you're seeing now is a direct result of what's been going on the last 3 to 6 months from in the past. Those are the things where you were planting the seeds. So whether you're at a place now where you're planting seeds, where you're growing, where you're in that environment of learning new things, all of that is going to show up 3-6 months from now. So look at your business where it is today, but understand where's your business going to be in the future. Those are the factors to take into account when it comes to training. All right, the next step, and I touched on this a little bit earlier, but energy breeds energy. Are you around people that are inspiring you, that you're excited? I've always said this, excited agents, happy agents, they do more business. So are you around people that get you excited? Are you around a place where there's energy that makes you want to go out and do more, serve more, become more? Because that energy is ultimately what's going to be the juice that's going to push you forward to become more of a better agent than you've been in the past. Surround yourself with the right energy. Now look, you may be somebody that just likes it low key. If you do, then you need to find a brokerage that's just low key. Whatever it is for you. But if you're looking for growth, growth is going to be very difficult if there's not energy there that's going to give you momentum to push through when those headwinds come, because they will come. Anytime that you're trying to take your business to a new level, there's going to be new challenges. You're going to have these obstacles you're going to overcome. Have enough energy around you, have the motivation around you, have the excitement around you that propels you through those things, and you'll absolutely know that you're in the right place. All right, so now we've talked about a couple things. So how do we evaluate all this? Because listen, this sounds great, but how do we put it pen to paper? This is what I would encourage you to do. Take 2 sheets of paper, draw a line right down the middle, put pros on one side, cons on the other. We've talked about the finances. What's the difference financially? We've talked about the training. Who has the better training? We've talked about being in a culture of collaboration or an atmosphere where there's energy, where you're growing. Put that down. Talk about exactly what those pros and cons are. Weigh them out. Typically what I found is when you lay these things out on pen or paper, it's going to be crystal clear. It's going to be crystal clear that you're at the right place. Now, let me say this. You probably are not taking advantage of everything where you are. Make sure you're doing that before you just make a change. But ultimately, you have to be at a place where you're excited about your future. Once you've laid this out, it's going to give you an understanding of exactly where it is. And then that's going to roll us into the last place. Don't be someone who doesn't go through short-term pain because you're worried about that in the short run, and it keeps you from having long-term gain. Everything is going to be pain. You're going to have one of 2 pains. You're going to either have the pain of going through the struggle or the change now, because look, it is difficult when you make a change. You can mitigate some of that, but there's going to be some times where it's going to be a little difficult. You got to make some changes there. Sometimes you got to squat a little bit to be able to jump. But understand this, the second pain is the one that you really don't want, and that's the pain of regret. You're either going to have that pain in the short run that leads to long-term gain, or you're going to have the pain of regret that lasts forever. If you're at a place and you're wondering, gosh, I really don't want to make this move, will you thank yourself for staying 5 years from now, or will you thank yourself for making that change and having that short-term pain? A lot of times what happens too is we wonder about the relationships we have. What I've found, because recently having to make a change, is that absolutely those that are closest to you, that want the best for you, they're going to absolutely understand. If you make a decision on what you believe is best for you and your family, they're going to understand. Some won't. Just understand that. I had this situation with my wife. We were talking about this, and probably 6 to 9 months before I actually made a move, she had just asked me, what are we doing? You're making less money than you were. You're doing things that aren't in line with who you are. And you're not making a move. Why are you frozen in this decision? And I answered her, I said, but all of the relationships I have, I love the people I'm around. And she kind of hit me between the eyes and she said, yes, but what about those closest relationships to you? What about your clients? What about your family? Are you doing and honoring those relationships by staying where you are? Ultimately, there's certain people that are closest to us that we owe it to be the best version of ourselves. If that's you and you need to make a change, have the guts to make the change. If you're at a place where you're maybe thinking you need to make a change, don't make the change. Be in a position where you know that this is what you need to do, that you need to surround yourself with those people and have the guts to go out and make that change. And I promise the future self of you is going to thank you for doing that. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. I specifically chose the video below for you because it builds on the one you just watched. I hope it's helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.